All right, you're on the platform, and the Free Speech Union, Mike says, should pay Jordan Peterson to give the training to Oliver's school. That would be awesome, and he would probably do it for free. We will invite today, I want you to get hold of Bella, the headmaster of you Plymouth Boys High School, see if he'll exercise his freedom of speech if he's got the courage to do that. Sean, this young guy has already made great progress as a speechwriter. Is this where many of our issues arise? Speechwriters' views are not exactly the political opinion that is trying to be spread. Something akin to Yes Minister, well done to him. Bet the left teacher groups hate that speech, misogynistic, Christian and race aware, everything that they can't face and would prefer to cancel, says Murray. What a great kid. I thought he spoke with a maturity well beyond his years. Bravo, Oliver, says Karen. And Sean, people send multiple same texts because you are so... okay, thank you. All right, well, as part of Oliver's settlement, the Free Speech Union is going to go to New Plymouth Boys High School and will educate them, workshop them on freedom of speech in a school setting. And I wondered what that encompasses, what that means, and how that's done. So I thought we'd have a chat to Jillaine Heather from the Free Speech Union, who joins us by video link now. Jillaine, welcome. And firstly, congratulations to you. As I said, as a journalist, this is one of the stories I'm most proud to have been associated with in my entire career, because it is a person perceived as powerless, exercising their right and asserting their right to have a voice. And it's so important, isn't it?
Sean, thanks for having us on, and I couldn't agree more. I'm so pleased with this resolution, with the apology and the acknowledgement to Oliver and for his parents, etc. Many people might think that this is a storm in a teacup, but it's anything but. This is exactly the example of what's happening in our society, where ideas that are unpopular or thought-provoking are suppressed. And so the result and the courage that Oliver has shown to stand up and speak for himself is amazing. I'm so pleased. The platform gave him a platform, essentially, and this result has happened, although a year later.
Yeah, and it hasn't been an easy battle. We still have never had any real response from the school to our inquiries to them. But part of the apology, which we can only assume and take on good faith is genuine, that they do recognise what they did, right?
No, absolutely. I think, look, we all have a path to redemption in life. We all make mistakes. And so recognising it, being able to acknowledge it and move on. And I think inviting the Free Speech Union in to help with some of the best practice guidelines, in their school, how to deal with free speech shows real courage as well, for the school. So I do commend them for that.
How do you go about that process? How does it work? What do your workshops or advice look like?
No, so we've developed Nick Hahn, who you've had on many times, has developed a speak up program for the schools, and so we go in both. Like, this will be a bit of a mixed version where we also go in and talk to the teachers about their responsibilities, their obligations to develop ideas, to allow sort of first principles ideas of the marketplace of free speech and how to encourage students to be able to think independently and critically, etc. So it'll be a session for the teachers, but then hopefully also a session for the students. We need to work out all of these details.
Do you think all those teachers are going to be willing participants?
As with everything, Sean, once you actually sit down and talk to people and you're discussing the ideas, you actually find that you have far less out of common than you've got in common. The teachers do want what's best for their students. They do want to set them up. Somehow we've just got a bit lost on how to encourage independent critical thinkers, and we just need to emphasize how important that is for open discourse and for kids to be able to, and teachers to be able to rationally talk about differing ideas. We can't avoid these hard subjects.
All right, look, the other thing is one might have imagined in the last year and a half, and I'm sorry, I identify free speech as part of, in the context of a cultural war, which is in the context of a political contest of ideas. One would have hoped that in the last year and a half, since the change of government, because I do believe the left in the previous government was into cancel culture, I think that's demonstrably true. Has the work of the Free Speech Union reduced or got easier? Or are we still fighting a battle and fighting headwinds in the idea of freedom of speech?
That's such a great question. When we first set up this coalition and this union, I think the people that were involved in the setup thought that they might do themselves out of a job when they saw off hate speech or avoided a few different things. Unfortunately, I think this is a far longer battle for the cultural heart of democracy and New Zealand. However, we are seeing change. We are seeing more people stand up and recognise that we need to be able to talk about difficult topics, that we can't avoid them, that we can't sort of sleepwalk into ideological conformity. So the fight is still there. We still have to be aware to it, and sort of speak up against it. But we're seeing it creep into the mainstream media just a little bit, with Oliver's story. They're picking up these stories. We hear people talk about free speech now, whereas 2 years ago it wouldn't have been mentioned anywhere near the mainstream media. So I think we all are changing the dial. We're trying to have these conversations. We're showing people it's not about the content, it's about being able to openly discuss things. So slowly, I think we are moving the dial.
All right. It struck me too, some organisations might want to get ahead of the curve on this, and rather than being pulled up by someone like Oliver or the Free Speech Union or hitting the headlines in the platform, they might want their business or organisation to learn a bit more about free speech. Do you guys offer a service where someone could say, look, we're having a staff gathering or a function, or we want to learn more? Can they reach out to you and just get a kind of heads up? Get a 101 on how to make sure you've got good free speech practice?
No, that's absolutely right, and they absolutely can. As you know, we've already sort of been into councils, the Marlborough Council and the Taupo Council, so we do have a whole service developed in an interactive workshop where we can explore topics and show people how they can talk about an idea and not about the people. And we've got a session for the schools. We've been trying to, we've been rolling this out at a number of different schools, but finding some pushback, as you can imagine. But this is all about the students. It's all about developing discernment, critical thinking, empathy, being able to talk about confronting ideas. So we would love it if more schools, more businesses, and more councils sort of reached out and would welcome coming to talk to them and letting people understand what it means to be a free speech organisation and free speech champions on their own.
Jillaine, if people have an issue like Oliver, they want to contact you, how do they get in touch?
As always, they can get in touch with us at fsu.nz, sort of reaching out to us on the website, by email. We all of our campaigns and our cases come through the email contact and through referrals. So please, if anyone's got any issues, would love to hear about it and would help if we can.
Fantastic. I thank you for your time this morning. Enjoy your time with New Plymouth Boys High School.
Thank you, Sean.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Yeah. Jillaine Heather from the Free Speech Union. As you probably gather, I'm quite a good mood about this story today. And as I say, does the platform exist? To give a platform to people like Oliver. To fight on principle, not on profit. Good on Oliver and the Free Speech Union. Regards, Malcolm. Morning, Sean. Glad to hear that Oliver got an apology calling in from Switzerland today. Penny, what on earth are you doing in Switzerland? What time is it in Switzerland? Way past your bedtime, I'll guarantee.